Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to break down complex stuff, make it quick, make it easy to grasp. Today, we're getting into TO-ETH-DAI. It's that meme coin on the Base blockchain. You've probably seen it around. Claims it's more than just, a flash in the pan. So our mission today really is to figure out what THI actually is. Is it just speculation, pure meme fuel?
Or is there something more substantial there? Like, is it building real sustainable utility on base layer 2? That's the big question.
Yeah, we need to look at how you actually buy it, the nuts and bolts.
CEXs versus DXs.
Right, and what's driving its price? What are the market forces?
And where does it fit in this whole kind of wild world of meme coins?
Okay, let's start with the fascinating bit. THI's name, it's actually got this dual thing going on.
Yeah, it's pretty clever, actually. It's named after Brian Armstrong's cat. He's the Coinbase co-founder, and Satoshi Nakamoto,
the Bitcoin creator.
Yeah.
Wow. And it calls itself the face of Base. Pretty bold claim.
Very bold.
So right now, looking at the data, the price is sort of bouncing around, 0.000785, maybe 0.000843, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, but it's had some crazy swings. Remember that all-time high? It is 0.00244.
Exactly. Volatility is the name of the game here.
But what's really interesting, I think, is that even with the playful name, the project itself, it launched back in 2023 on Base. It seems to have shifted focus pretty quickly towards building actual DeFi stuff, decentralized finance infrastructure.
Okay, so it started as a meme, but now it wants to be taken seriously. It wants to wear the utility badge. How convincing is that, though? They talk about this Toshi tools package. What's actually in there? What makes it useful?
Well, it's more developed than you might expect, actually. The core of the governance side is the MEOW DAO.
Well, MEOW DAO.
Right, a decentralized autonomous organization. So basically, decisions get made by people holding Toshi tokens in these things called NFToshis. One token, one vote. Pretty standard DAO setup.
Right. Governance. What about stability, trust?
That's where the tools come in. They've got a token locker and a liquidity locker. These are designed to secure the project's assets, lock up liquidity. It gives investors, some proof that things are stable, that funds won't just disappear.
Okay, so locking funds, that's basic DeFi security, right? Important, but standard. What else is in the toolkit? Does it actually help developers build things on Base?
Yeah, that seems to be the aim. They have a Multisender tool.
Multisender.
Yeah, it's for sending tokens out to lots of addresses at once. Think airdrops, community rewards, that kind of thing. Super useful for projects managing large communities.
Okay, practical.
And then there's Toshi Mart. It's basically a Launchpad specifically designed for launching new meme coins on the Base network.
Huh. So they're building infrastructure for the very market they came from. Interesting loop.
Kind of, yeah. Supporting the ecosystem.
And what about Toshi Swap? You mentioned DeFi tools. Is there anything special about their exchange?
Yes, actually. Toshi Swap has this innovative feature related to how tax tokens work. Coins that take a small percentage fee on transactions.
Transaction taxes.
Right. So Toshi Swap is set up to apply those taxes directly when you buy. The key thing is this gets rid of the need for something called swapbacks.
Swapbacks. What are those again?
It's basically when the project's contract automatically sells some of its own tokens on the open market to get, say, ETH for funding. By eliminating that.
So no automatic selling pressure from the project itself.
Exactly. It helps reduce that constant downward pressure on the price that some tax tokens have.
That's actually quite a technical detail aimed at, maybe sustainability.
It suggests they're thinking longer term, yeah.
And speaking of Base, the layer 2 it's built on, how connected are Toshi and Base? Is Toshi's success just tied to Base doing well?
Oh, absolutely. They're very tightly linked.
Yeah.
Toshi is positioned, even if unofficially, as Base's mascot. And we've seen it in the data. There's been a clear historical correlation. When Base's total value locked, the TVL goes up by, say, 10%.
Yeah.
Toshi has typically seen gains of around 5% to 7%. It rides Base's wave.
That's a strong link. But doesn't that also mean it's a big risk? If something happens to Base or Base usage drops, does Toshi just follow it down?
It certainly introduces network dependency risk, yes. That's true for any project built on another layer. But you could argue its position as a sort of community leader on Base gives it some internal strength, maybe some resilience other projects wouldn't have.
Okay, interesting dynamic. Right, let's shift gears. Let's get practical for anyone listening who might be thinking, okay, how do I actually buy this thing? We need the step-by-step. Centralized exchanges versus decentralized.
Two main paths, yep. Centralized exchanges, CEXs, are usually the first stop for many.
And given the Coinbase connection, Brian Armstrong's cat and all, Coinbase seems like the obvious place to start.
It's definitely one of the easiest, especially for beginners. You sign up, link your bank or card, deposit funds, or send crypto in. Pretty straightforward.
And on Coinbase itself, there are options, right?
Yeah, two main ways. There's the simple, regular trading, quick, easy, but the fees can be a bit higher. Or you can switch on advanced trading. Fees are lower there, and you get more control, like setting specific price limits for your buy orders market or limit orders.
Got it. And besides Coinbase?
It's also available on other big CEXs, Crypto.com, ByBit. Usually you'll be trading it against stablecoins like USDT or USDC on those platforms.
Okay. Now, there was a specific warning in the source material, wasn't there? Something about regulations, especially in the US.
Ah, yes. Important point. Some users, specifically those in New York State, reported issues. They couldn't actually complete 2-ish trades on certain platforms.
Why is that?
It seems to boil down to New York's specific regulations, the BIT license requirements. It's a stricter environment there, and some exchanges might not offer certain tokens or services because of it. Something to be aware of if you're in New York.
Definitely good to know. Okay, so that's the centralized route. What about decentralized exchanges, DEXs, for people who want full control, non-custodial ownership?
Right, the DX route. First step is getting a Web3 wallet, something like Coinbase Wallet, MetaMask. There are plenty of options.
Really got the wallet, then what?
You need to fund it. Send some crypto over, usually ETH, or maybe a stablecoin like USDT or USDC, making sure it's on the Base network.
I gotta be on Base.
Then you go to a DX that supports Base. Uniswap is a popular choice. Connect your wallet.
And this next part is crucial, right? Finding the right token.
Absolutely critical. You need the official, verified Toshi contract address. In the decentralized world, this is like the unique ID. Using the wrong one could mean losing your funds to a scam token.
Okay, let's say it clearly. The official Toshi contract address is 0xAC1BD248CC AC3OB5SC3FD SC3FDFE558B0825331B482B4.
Double check it. Triple check it.
Yeah.
Copy it directly from a trusted source like the official Toshi website or CoinMarketCap.
And that brings us to the big security warning.
Cannot stress this enough. Never, ever share your wallet's seed phrase or private keys with anyone for any reason. That's like giving away the keys to your entire crypto bank account.
Treat it like gold. Only use official contract addresses. Scammers are everywhere trying to trick you with fake ones.
Be paranoid. It pays off.
Okay, so we know how to buy it. We know the risks there. Now let's look at what's been driving Toshi's price lately. What's giving it momentum? This connects back to those bigger market trends too.
Exchange listings are always a huge catalyst. We saw that clearly with Tuhi. When the Binance.US listing was announced, what happened? Tuhi jumped over 20%.
Predictable pump on the news?
Yep. And the OKX listing later on. It followed that classic pattern. Big CEX listings often cause these surges, 40%, sometimes even 80%.
But there's always a but, isn't there? That excitement doesn't always last.
Usually doesn't, no. The data shows these pumps are often followed by a pretty significant retracement. Pullbacks of 30% to 50% are common after the initial hype dies down.
Buy the rumor, sell the news, basically.
Often, yeah. But there's another indicator that's been talked about recently, something potentially more bullish.
Oh, what's that?
The amount of Toshi being held on centralized exchanges has actually been going down lately.
Meaning people are moving it off exchanges to their own wallets.
Exactly. Moving it into cold storage, or at least self-custody. This is often seen as a sign of confidence. Holders aren't keeping it ready to sell immediately. They're planning to hold.
That is interesting. But could there be another explanation? Maybe just smart traders securing profits or tokens in safer wallets temporarily, not necessarily signaling long-term belief.
That's definitely a possibility. You can't know the exact intention. But the act of moving it, paying the gas fees to do so, it does suggest they aren't planning to dump it on the market right now. It reduces that immediate sell-side pressure, at least.
Okay, fair point. Reducing sell pressure is significant. But we can't just talk about listings and token movements. We need to zoom out. Why are meme coins like 2SI so popular in general right now? What's the bigger picture?
Yeah, the macro context is crucial here. You have to look at the socioeconomic mood. Inflation has been a huge factor. Remember, 2021, U.S. inflation hit 7.0%. People feel like their money isn't going as far.
And buying traditional assets, like a house, forget about it for many younger people.
Exactly. The stats are stark. The average home price today needs almost twice the share of annual wages compared to back in, say, 1963. Getting ahead the traditional way feels much harder.
So it creates this feeling of, what, needing to take bigger risks?
Kinda, yeah. Look at who's buying crypto. The data suggests 94% of crypto buyers are millennials and Gen Z, ages 18 to 40. Some analysts call it a loss of faith in the ability to get rich slow, maybe a bit of financial nihilism creeping in. People feel the old rules don't work, so they look for alternatives, even high-risk ones, that offer that chance, however small, of outsized returns.
So meme coins tap into that frustration, that desire for a shortcut, or at least a different path. What's their specific appeal compared to, say, a more complex tech-focused altcoin?
It often comes down to perceived fairness and accessibility. Think about it. A lot of traditional altcoin projects had these VC rounds, private sales.
Right, where early investors get in cheap.
Exactly. And then retail investors come in later, sometimes feeling like they might just be providing the exit liquidity when those early investors unlock and sell their tokens, that whole low float, high FDV issue.
High fully diluted valuation, yeah, where the total potential market cap looks huge, but only a few tokens are actually trading.
Right. Meme coins, on the other hand, often have fair launches. Everyone gets in at roughly the same time. Everything is transparent on the blockchain from day one. The narrative is simple, easy to understand quickly.
It feels more like a level playing field, even if it's a highly speculative one.
That's a huge part of the appeal. That accessibility and the strong sense of community ownership you often see, it's a powerful mix.
But let's bring it back to earth a bit. That community feeling is great, but we have to talk about the sheer risk involved here. The numbers are pretty brutal, aren't they? Something like 97% of meme coins basically fail.
It's incredibly high, yeah. The vast majority end up with almost zero trading volume. They just fade away. So while the potential upside can be massive, the reliance purely on sentiment, on hype, makes them extraordinarily risky investments. The chances of picking the one that survives and thrives are slim.
And that raises a bigger question for the whole crypto space, doesn't it? The focus issue.
Definitely. There's a real concern in the industry that so much capital, so much attention is flowing into purely speculative meme coins.
Yeah.
That maybe it's draining resources and eyeballs away from projects trying to build genuinely innovative technology, solving real problems.
Like, do we really need another dog coin with slightly different sunglasses?
Yeah. There's a sense of diminishing marginal utility, right? How much innovation is really happening with the 10th variation of an animal meme?
But that's exactly where Too Shy tries to say, hey, we're different. That's their whole counter argument, using that utility stack we talked about earlier.
Precisely. Toshi's position is, yes, we started with a meme, we have the cat, the name, but look deeper. They point to the MEOW DAO for governance, the token lockers for stability, the Multisender, the Toshi Mart Launchpad, those unique Toshi swap mechanics. They argue they're embedding real DeFi infrastructure in today's ecosystem. They're trying to be more than just speculation, trying to provide actual function.
So wrapping this deep dive up, Toshi is this fascinating mix. It's got the Coinbase origin story connection, the meme culture vibe, but also this genuine attempt, it seems, to build real tools on Base. Lockers, DAO, the swap features, all while riding Base's coattails, for better or worse.
It's a complex picture. And maybe that leads us to the final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. We've seen this huge retail demand for launches that feel fair, that are accessible. It seems driven, at least partly, by this disillusionment with traditional finance, with getting rich slow. So here's the question. Will the next generation of successful crypto projects, even the ones focused purely on utility and tech, start copying the launch model of meme coins like Toshi, that community-first fair launch approach, instead of the old VCC-backed way?
Is the lesson here less about the memes themselves and more about how they connect with and empower their communities from day one?
Maybe that's the signal the market is really sending. Something to think about.